Welcome to the Socialite series, where we celebrate and promote women who influence the world. We do this each and every week to bring you information, inspiration, and motivation from socialites who have something to say. I'm your host, Monica Karst. Now let's get this party started. Well, hello, party people. It's that time, the time where we get to celebrate amazing women on a Tuesday. You've tuned in to the Socialite series, and if this is your first time, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you for being here. I'm Monica Karst, your host, coming to you live from Santa Cruz, California. Yes, this is live radio, and you never know what you're going to get. Today, we celebrate episode number 16, Co-Creating a World Where Everyone Wins with Narayani Gaia. Before I introduce Narayani, I want to remind you, you can always join us in the conversation by dialing 248-629-0921. Again, that's 248-629-0921. Special thanks to our sponsor, Santa Cruz Skin Solutions and Integrated Wellness. Jenna Lee and her team treat their clients with a holistic clinical approach to healthy skin and a healthy body. So be sure to visit them at santacruzskinsolutions.com. With that, let's bring out our guest today. A little bit about Narayani. She found herself on a healing journey ever since she visited Santa Cruz in 1992. And for the past 23 years, Narayani has been initiated into both traditional and modern forms of meditation, movement, and healing work while sharing these gifts with others along the way. In that journey as a student of healing and spiritual arts, Narayani has partaken in many Native American ceremonies, dance of the African diaspora, received mantra initiation, and a personal mentorship with spiritual teachers. She even became a massage therapist in 1997 and a yoga instructor in 1999. Experienced a profound awakening in 2002 that lasted years to reveal its power. Narayani, let's get you out here. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Good morning, Monica. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
That is a long list. And whenever I'm around you, I feel your power. I feel your spirituality. I feel your love and your warmth and your grounding. Let's talk about who you are and how that happened. Can we start off with a little bit of what your spiritual awakening was in 2002? What did you experience?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Great. That's a good one. Good place to start. Thank you. I just want to deep bow to you, Monica, and all the team here at Bold Radio Station. It's really great to share our energy together. I just want to say I love your energy too, and when I'm around you, I really feel your inclusiveness and your nurturing and your joy and your strength. So anything I get to do with you is so special. So thank you for including me today. I just wanted to acknowledge you too, girl. Yeah.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So reverse back 14 years. So spiritual awakening, just fast forward, actually. A couple of years ago, I did a really deep exploration on what spiritual awakening was. And I discovered that spiritual awakening wasn't just a profound experience, which I did have in 2002, of awakening to the nature of who I was beyond my identity, beyond the different roles that I play in my life, and coming in to realize I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Besides experiencing that perception change, that's a big spiritual awakening. That's a big spiritual awakening. But spiritual awakenings and awakenings are things that happen throughout our entire lives. So you're a mom, so giving birth is an awakening. somebody dies close to you gives you a total shift in perspective for the rest of your life. Is an awakening experience. Anything that wakes you up to shift your perception to something beyond you, I think is an awakening. That shifts, and the idea that I received from my teacher, one of my many mentors in 2002 specifically, was that the goal of awakening was for the benefit of everyone. So it's never just about your own personal story. And the reason is because awakenings kind of take over our limited perception of that we are the ones doing everything in the world. We are the ones creating our experience. We are, we are the most important. And so it works. There's a lot of there's a lot of subtle things that happen at different kinds of awakenings, right? If you think about birth, if someone's doing yoga for 15 years and their energy starts opening up, they may have a breakthrough and start to perceive energy. That happened with me. I started to then be able to sense energy more. Your dreams can become really vivid. If you have a quote-unquote spiritual awakening, in that sense, there are ways that the alchemy of your body and your energy shifts, and if it's sustained, then it's what my teacher would say, that's the point, is to sustain these shift in perceptions. Mm-hmm. So the awakening that I had was something that sustained, but then had to be integrated. And what I didn't know at that time is what I'd be doing as a career would be teaching people how to integrate the perception of themselves as this profound, incredible being, which we all are, which we could just realize in a second, right? A spiritual being having human experience. I mean, that is a well-known thought at this time on our planet. But then how do you live, and what does that mean to live, in your body, and then bring your passion, your desire, your spiritual guidance, your vision, your all of those deep, rich things that make life worth living, right? All of those things that drive us to want to be happy and help the world. How do you do that? And I think those things come from awakening. Those are results of awakening. The stirring of those desires, to improve the world and to love more and to be happy and to be healthy. Those drives are innate, and when we go through different awakenings, those drives become, they either become stronger, but sometimes they actually settle into more contentment, depending on the kind of awakening. But in that, the integration process is what a lot of, as you know, in the Bay Area, a lot of coaches, a lot of healers, traditionally elders would do, just sit with young people and just teach them about life, not just getting specific degrees on subjects, that you're interested in, which has a value, but really understanding how life works, and elders would do that in, days gone by. But these days, we don't have as many of those. The elders haven't been held in that light. So there hasn't been as much of an honor and a respect and a nurturing of our elders in our world. So there's been at least in the West, it's, right, put them away in homes, Yeah. So we have to source this kind of wisdom through the internet, through through the internet, but through each other, really, which is why, I'm really into this theme of co-creating together, because I think we really all have pieces that we need, and I'm a real big stand in knowing what your piece is. What is your contribution? What is your big, offering to the world? And when you start finding that, there's a fulfillment that comes that settles your energy, and it brings a peace to you. But the interesting thing is you often have to find the peace to have it come,
Right,
but then
right.
they feed each other. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And what I love is that the fact of you are completely spiritual and it just radiates off you. Anyone who is ever around you would know that. But I like how you point out us normals who aren't in tune with energy and aren't in tune with our life. And it's almost like you are reminding us to stop and smell the roses and to awaken ourselves. It's like, wake up, people. And what that means is being spiritual and being in tune with our bodies and with the earth and the whole universe as a whole. And so to us, it would be like, stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, I think it's really just about being present. And I think because of the deep conditionings of the dogma of religion and of all the subconscious beliefs, things we've been working out and, in the Western world around, the psychological models of understanding the dynamics that control our lives and these different ways that we've, dove into uncovering what's underneath our drive for life and our drive for happiness. These kinds of places like psychology, religion, they all open the doors for us, but then you have to walk through yourself.
Right.
And the way that you walk through, the first way that you walk through is through being present with whatever's there, whatever's true for you, and,
right.
And so it's smelling the roses, but sometimes you're not smelling roses. What are you smelling?
Ooh, well, okay, that actually brings a really good segue into what we're smelling, which is smoke. So, okay, here we are you're right up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. You're across the road from this huge fire. So you, as a spiritual healer, are supposed to give support to others. And right now, I'm sure it's really frightening for you. So tell us how you're standing in your power and what's thrown at you, but that's nature has given to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love your ability to track what's going on right now. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's interesting. We were talking a little before the show, and for those of us in this area, we're dealing with. Really, I think it's the first fire in this area in 8 years. Even though we're in drought country in Central California, I think it was about 8 years ago where there was, a wildfire like this. So. Yeah, there's this belief that being spiritual means that you can't, you're not grounded, right? Or that you're living just on some abstract ideas or values. Maybe not for you, but I know in California there's a lot of free thinkers and, we've been at the edge of consciousness in the Bay Area since the 60s here. The edge of the development of the evolutionary impulse of understanding, consciousness and humanity and what drives things is a big, we're a big center for spiritual thought in the world, in the Bay Area. I'm going to bring it back to the fire. Don't worry.
Oh, I trust you.
Good. I trust you too. So with this mindset of like really understanding what it means to be awake and what it means to be, quote unquote spiritual, there's been a lot of, exploration into the deep wells of the psyche and of what really drives us. And when we're driven from survival mode, it's hard to think of the greatest good of all and be in a place of prayer. Now, this is natural. So I'm driving, over the 17, and I'm cruising my happy 70 miles an hour, whatever, 65 miles an hour, my new sports Honda, The
little teeny tiny one.
What?
The little teeny tiny one.
Yeah, and loving it, and I see a police officer, and I'm like, oh, and I feel my adrenals go into fear. I'm like, oh, better slow down. I'm good. I'm cool. Got my seatbelt on. Everything's legit. I'm going to slow down. But my nervous system will have like a spasm. Right. And, should that not happen if I'm a healer and a guide? No. We have false perceptions of each other, and we put expectations on ourselves to be perfect. And I don't want to get too into the perfect conversation, but I just want to make a point about the reality of life and the fear, or, being afraid when there's a blazing fire in 100-degree, weather up the hill is healthy. Like, whatever, let's just watch Netflix, pass the popcorn. Like, that would be, that would be checking out. So in awakening and in awareness, we want to be able to acknowledge. The way that I work with people and that I work is to really acknowledge the feelings that arise in life, in all aspects of our lives. But also what happens is, as we cultivate greater love and prayers for the idea that we can experience fulfillment and everyone else can, we can create and build from a place of a dream where there is I know I'm kind of getting out there with this. I want to kind of bring it home, but we can create a different reality. Let's just say that. So, for example, we all have different dreams of what we want in the world. Right now we have 2 presidential candidates, right? And so we have this one possible dream, like this guy, it'll look like that. Her, it'll look like this. Or how about the 3rd or 4th option? Oh, then it would look like that, But are we taking the time to look at what we want individually, what dream we really want? What are you creating? What is driving you? And so by really tapping into being present and noticing the day-to-day things that affect your life and how you choose to react to them, and then beholding them, enables us to come into a place of feeling in acceptance and love and empowerment about our lives, so that we can create change, not from reaction or survival mode or fighting, but from a place that is like in self-compassion and clarity with choice as to what we want. So this actually requires a deep grounding, into the body, and letting yourself come into perspective that doesn't reject the parts of yourself that are, quote, aren't spiritual or aren't lovable or are uncomfortable or are in fight or flight. Or you don't need to reject that. I don't need to criticize or judge myself because I feel fear about a fire because I'm supposed to just keep it cool. So when we're able to do that for ourselves, and I'm sure you've experienced this, Monica, you can do it for others. Like as a mom's parents get an opportunity to learn this. Some struggle more with it. But as you keep your cool and you hold your ground and you learn to speak from love and compassion, your children respond. But you have to be really authentic because kids are like, pure energy. So
and they have really good bullshit radars.
Exactly. So they can see and feel it, and when they'll call you out. Right?
Absolutely.
So when you're really like holding it, they're like, okay, like they can be the child. They can, they can be held by your truth. But when you're just like saying something, but your energy says something different, it's something that you have to work on yourself to really be able to, behold. So I'm just bringing that back because the topic of today was creating a world where everyone wins. And I wanted to bring that into how I work, how I think, how I believe that we need to, how we can learn rather to heal, and then create a dream that's the dream that we really want. But if we're in the reaction, like if I was in fear, like last night I talked to someone in my family who lives across the country, to be unnamed, and the person said, how are you going to sleep tonight? I was like, I have to sleep. I'm going to Hawaii in 2 days. I'm being interviewed at 9 in the morning. I have to sleep, And she's like, well, I'm not going to sleep. I wouldn't be able to sleep. And I'm like, yeah, I can create that reality that I can sleep. Or I could calm myself, do my meditation, get the phone next to my bed, make sure everything's prepared, and send the information, pack my little bag and come from, what am I going to do to create the stability within myself so that I can stay in balance and create the experience that I want. I want a great night's sleep. I want to have tons of energy and insight when I wake up for this, when I have this interview, this talk with you this morning. What else do I want instead of just feeling paralyzed or stuck? from being able to create the change in the planet. Which is why I sent out that newsletter this morning to my community about us, about this call, and about how we could start looking at where we resist living and moving forward in our lives. That's a whole other topic. But it's really tied into this, the lack of empowerment to move forward and create your dream. So these are things that, these are things I think about.
Well, absolutely fabulous. So when you're co-creating, we're co-creating, and it actually starts as an individual. So we start with ourselves in order to be able to work with others.
Right. If you try to, exactly. I mean, it's what, international negotiators do. It's what the UN does. It's not, it's what parents that are highly functioning, that get along do. They make decisions together for their family that are, that are not run by survival or fight or flight, which unfortunately we have a lot of damage. We have a lot of war between the sexes, and, we have a lot of healing to do collectively. But I tried to do, and I'm sure you do this for a living, different projects with different people at different times, because as a healer and practitioner, I've been, doing energy healing and body work and yoga meditation, all this stuff for all these years. And for many years I was doing it, on my own business. But over time I realized that didn't give me the kind of support that I needed, and that having, and this as well, having more support, makes it actually stronger. It's strengthening. So, and easier, and you feel loved, and it's more fun. But if I try to create projects with people where I don't know where I'm coming from, which now I do, 4 years ago I wasn't so clear on, I've been writing my book for the last couple of years, so it's, I'm at a stage of really clear what I'm doing and what my message is and what's important to me. But when I was trying to wait for somebody else to tell me something, to create something, to work on projects, it wasn't very effective. So absolutely, being able to get really clear on what drives you, and what your work is. Like, what is your path? How are you contributing to the world in this lifetime? Maybe some people, they're having children and they're nurturing their children, and they're going to raise those children to be, eco stewards, because they love garden, they love the planet. We all have our different kind of paths, but if once, there's this suffering that happens when people don't know their vision. And when they find their vision and they connect to the fulfillment of creating a different reality, it's like you can actually find peace with being unique, and you don't have to feel stuck conforming, because we're all unique.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of times if we feel like we have to conform and be like everyone else, there's a suffering. But at the same time, we are all the same, which is a whole other thing.
And that's such a great visual. It's like so many people are trying to chase someone else's dreams and goals and visions, and when it actually resonates to yourself, you can't hold it in. It's just a spirit and a light that just beams from your heart, and happiness comes so intensely. And it's when you're not afraid to be different. And we are different. Yes, we are the same, but we are so different, and each one of us has such special gifts. So for you to say that is good. We need to acknowledge our own gift.
I love that. Yeah, I just love when I meet people who really know that they are unique. But what happens is that, this is kind of a whole nother can. I don't know if people wanted to call in and ask questions, but I just wanted to open that up. If you wanted to do that. But I feel like, I really like working with people who feel like they don't fit in, but are yet, and are trying to fit in, but then they just need the support and the validation that they can follow their own passion and vision. I met someone like that yesterday. It really touched me very deeply. Who didn't really fit into the corporate job that he had, and is really driven by justice and nature, and wants to skydive and be a skydive teacher, but it's not what his family or his girlfriend or anyone would be happy with him doing, and I just gave him permission to do whatever he wants.
Ooh. Fantastic. So we'll be seeing
yeah,
him drop from the sky soon.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to talk about it. We'll see.
Nice. So, of course, we don't have a whole lot of time left, and I want to go into you telling us a little bit about your local practice in Santa Cruz and a very special event that you have coming up in a couple days.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I work locally and I work online. So I work both. I work in person and I work online. And I work with, like I said, a lot of people who are driven by finding their life's work, but either don't know how to manifest it or are just feel really isolated and unsupported in what they're doing. And so I work mostly with healers, like other healers and visionaries, like people that are driven to make the world a better place. Because there's something about those of us that are driven to bring more and more good to the world of suffering, that we have unique kind of ways of perception. And not everyone has that. Like, oh my God, it's kind of astrological. There are a lot of reasons why some of us have that. I think it's innate, but I think some people are more just focused on their day-to-day goals, and that's beautiful. But I'm really dedicated to working with people that are visionaries and have path of higher service, because I've had to walk that myself, of integrating like my great passion to help the world, and then also go, well, how do I find my own desire, and what about the smelling the roses, and what about all this other stuff. So I've been focusing on integrating the highest, high vision with deep desire, which is also traditionally known as Tantra in the East, but not the sex Tantra that people call in the West, but the spiritual Tantra of the like spiritual and the physical, the union within yourself, the divine union in yourself. So that's, those are the people that I mostly work with and enjoy working with, are people who are driven to make the world a better place but feel really stuck in their situations that they're in for whatever reason.
So and how do they find you?
Healers.
How do they find you? Where do we get a hold of you? You have a website. Let's let everybody know where that is. Yeah, so my website is NarayaniGaia.com, and NarayaniGaia. Yes. And yes, and Narayani will put all of your information up on the Santa Cruz Socialites Facebook page so that people can reach you, get a hold of you, see your links, all of that good stuff. Yeah, we do have the Hawaii retreat this weekend. Yeah, so it's coming this weekend. Yeah, so next Sunday we begin for 6 days, and it's on Maui. It's an Awakening Women's Retreat, and it's for women who need to fill their cup and rejuvenate their energy so they can come back and rock their life. So kind of when you're holding a lot, it could be really depleting. I have 2 slots left, so if you're interested, definitely message me immediately. Yeah, NarayaniGaia.com. And you can link to that event by going to NarayaniGaia.com. Going on the bottom is events, and click there, and you'll go to the retreat information. And then also click through, sign up for my newsletter, get access to the free video. And I did open up a couple of consults for anyone who feels really driven to get on the phone with me. So join my newsletter, and then you'll get some emails that will invite you to book some time. I have a few, like 6 appointments or something in October for some drop-ins. Fantastic. And so now we've come to a close, and I want to thank you so much for being on the show this morning, Narayani. Do you want to end with like maybe a little prayer for the fire? Oh, would that be good for you? Would that be good for everyone? Yeah. Yes. Well, let's do it together. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, so I want to invite anyone who's listening now to just drop into their belly and feel the physical body's contact with the earth, and take a deep breath and just acknowledge anything that you feel around your family or yourself being exposed to danger, actually, any danger. And just exhale, make any sound. Just let go of any tension. Imagining that at the end of the breath,
your thought about it gets lighter and softer. Inhale again, feel any of the tension. And as you exhale, long exhale, pull the abdomen in. Allow your thoughts to get lighter and sweeter around the situation. And one more time. And let go and soften your thoughts. And then close your eyes and smile into your heart. Bring your hand to your heart and just connect to the feeling of love and send love to yourself, your family, the land, the fire being contained and going out, and the firefighters, and then anyone in your life having peace and stopping their fighting, stopping the struggling or the suffering that's happening, and having the strength to be able to love. So that's it. We could just keep that and just take a breath and just know that it's possible through our thoughts to completely change our world together. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We have run out of time. That is so beautiful. And that's a great way to end our day as of right now. Thank you, Narayani. Thank you, Damian. Thank you, everyone, for listening. That's a wrap for today's show. This is Monica Karst reminding you every day is a day to celebrate. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you for tuning in to the Socialite series. To find out more, visit us at santacruzsocialites.com and monicakarst.com. Until next week, be seen and be heard, and get out and shine your social light on your community.